Welcome back. This is Daily Jaylee bringing you fantasy draft prep, your auction draft prep. We got a lot to cover. I'm just going to jump right into it with the auction draft strategy tip of the day. And what I want to talk about is bidding up other players. So it's very tempting to bid guys up and to run them up. And the reason we're doing this is because we want to extract more cash out from other teams, and then we have a larger stack, and then we can buy players later. So there's an obvious interest in bidding up. But I've got to caution you about a couple things, and specifically how to bid people up. So early in the draft, my first point is a little is enough. A little is enough. Just adding a little momentum, adding a little to the enthusiasm. I talked about accelerating and decelerating the bidding. So when the bidding is going up really quickly, you know more bids are coming. Okay, maybe chime in there. But the key is don't get hung out to dry. And so everybody who has been there, who likes to bid up, who likes to, especially if you know the guys in the league and you're all friends and you know that's a favorite player or you know that there's a need there, you might want to keep pushing that bid and pushing that bid. But I just caution you, don't get hung out to dry. The two reasons are you could overspend and completely deplete your stack at a time when you maybe shouldn't be buying that degree of player, or it's just completely a player that you didn't want and now you've kind of spoiled your auction draft. You've got to do a workaround. You've got to wait before you can come in and buy the next player. So I will bid up a little bit. But typically, because I've gotten hung out, I've made some bad decisions. I've pushed the bar a little bit too much. I will only do it on players that I would be okay with the consequences. I'm doing a little bit too much, but I really like this guy. And so if I really like the player or the value is reasonable, maybe that's a way to allow yourself to keep bidding up. The other one is there's some guys that I want no part of, and I just won't touch it. I won't touch it. I don't want to get in on it. I don't want to mistakenly be the last click to be the guy who got stuck with some trash. So just be a little careful when you're bidding up. Do it conservatively. Obviously, you want to do it a little bit in the beginning or in the middle, but just do it safely. It doesn't have to be all the time because the league will catch on that you're kind of pushing the pace a little bit, and they might try to hang you out to dry on a certain player that you don't want. And remember, what's going to kind of happen is this kind of exponential curve that's going to swing through. You're going to have the highest prices in the beginning, but guys are going to lose a lot of money, and it's going to come down really steep. And so what bidding up will do, it'll push up the prices higher, and you'll spend less time in the $20 to $30 players, and then everybody will kind of stop spending, and they want to hang out, and they want to come over and get $10, $9, $8, $5, $4. But that will go on for a while. There's going to be a lot of $5 players, and that's what I mean with the exponential curve, that it starts to flatten out, and you got to be able to live there, and you got to be able to fill out your roster. There's talent the whole way. There's talent the whole way. And so I really want to live at each juncture. I want to get a big piece. I want to be there at 20, 30. I mean, let's just back the stack down. A $50 piece, 20, 20, 20. I've got 90 left. Is it 10s? Can I get 2 more 20s? Wherever you want to be in, but you kind of want to get pieces that you're paying for what in ADP speak would be you're paying for each round. You can really weight high tier, and maybe you live in the 30s. Maybe you get a lot of that. Maybe you get teens players. I don't know if all teens is going to work because these aren't elite players. So we're basically pushing the draft. We'll change the curve, but you want to live at different points. Be careful with the bidding up. Second tip in the auction draft that's different than Snake, you have to always be ready. The draft is exciting, but it's a grind. You have to watch every player because you don't know who's going to go at different times. You don't know who's going to be nominated. Somebody might nominate a cheap player, a late round player, a sleeper. All different positions. You just kind of have to stay alert. So not like Snake where you're on the cusp. You can make 2 picks. You can stop. You can go do something else. You can make a phone call. You can come back and check it. Or you're just waiting for your turn. You take a guy. The auction's going to be more involved. You have to be ready. So use the bathroom. Get comfortable. Get late. Get your stuff out next to you. Put something on in the background. Get a drink next to you. Handle all your stuff and be ready to really dive into the draft, because you can look away for just a second, your internet connection can fade on you, and 3-4 players went by, or you missed one guy, you spaced, and oh my God, how did he go for $15? So be ready for that. I think that's an important tip in the auction setting. So the stuff I'm going to go over today is going to be Statcast. Statcast is kind of a nice contrasting piece to Fangraphs, and I talked a lot about Fangraphs. I talked about going to the leaderboards, looking at the dashboard, go over there's tabs, there's batted ball data, there's contact rates. So it's kind of living in contact rates. But what we have is we have Baseball Savant. And so it's funny, not everybody knows this. I mean, if you get on to Statcast data and start using Baseball Savant, I bet you just leapfrog a whole bunch of the players you're going against. Because first, like, search Statcast, it's at baseballsavant.com. And I've realized that after diving in there, let me just pull it up here, that they've really updated their site. They've added in a few other things that I think are important to look at. So we click on baseballsavant.com. It kind of links to an MLB. This is affiliated with the MLB, so there's some connecting links here. We just click on leaderboards. Leaderboards pops up, and we immediately get batted ball data, which is sorted by barrels per plate appearance. I mentioned this earlier, but I want to go into a little bit more depth and point out a couple more features. So barrels is really good. A barrel is an exit velocity, and you can check the definition, but we're looking at an exit velocity above, I believe, 98 degrees, and then there's an optimal, launch angle coming off the bat. So that might be 15 degrees to 25 degrees. As the batter hits it harder, the barrel angles start to increase, and this is what we're describing as the launch angle revolution. Hitters are learning to elevate the ball. They're changing their approach. They're changing the way they're hitting the ball. I mean, even in Little League, they don't want guys popping up, and it's kind of baseball used to be a ground ball trend to just get contact, but now major league hitters are going into the air with it. The only issue with the launch angle revolution, which we've seen from maybe a Rougned Odor with them elevating it, is they start elevating it too much, and now you're popping out. You're getting underneath the ball and you're just flying out. So they've got to find a little bit of a balance. But let's just go back here to this Statcast data on Baseball Savant. It's sorted by barrels. You're seeing sluggers. You're seeing sluggers on the list. Chris Davis, 40 home runs. JD, Mookie, Shohei. I skipped over a couple names there. You got Joey Gallo. So the reason, this is the thing with Joey. Yeah, he's going to strike out. We're hoping that he can command the plate a little bit better, but there's going to be power. There's no doubter power. It's not fluke power. That's real deal power. He leads the barrel rate. Another guy you want to talk about, we've gone down in hitters, and I've pushed up some guys, and we're about, I checked it, we're at like 140 players deep into the player pool. Notice I haven't discussed any closers, and I've only mentioned 2 catchers, and that's pretty true to how I'm going to draft or how I'm assessing the league. But when you want to push a guy up, or you're doing this assessment, look at a Randall Grichuk. Again, a guy that strikes out a lot, but it's real power. So while his average may be a drag, and you'd have to make up for him in the batting average category, Randall Grichuk is going to put some out. Shohei Ohtani comes across the pitcher-hitter phenomena, and I know that he's playing through, he had Tommy John, he had the surgery, but they said he can hit through it because it's on the other arm. He might get some limited plate appearances, or he might DH a lot. That's real power. He knows how to make pretty sweet contact, as he's 6th on the barrels per plate appearance list. Teoscar Hernandez, another guy that strikes out a lot. The other thing you want to contrast it with as you're scanning across is the hard hit, the 95 miles per hour plus. So that's how I can tamp down, like, okay, so Chad Pinder had a nice barrel rate, but he doesn't really play much. He only has 90 hard hit. Austin Tyler, Eric Thames, who lost his job to Aguilar in Milwaukee. So you got to look at how frequently these guys are doing it. You can kind of throw out the low hard hit guys. Jake Cave, I don't even know who that is. So But then you jump back in, Baez, Acuna, Judge, Gary Sanchez, who am I on? These are all guys I'm high on, and the barrels per plate appearance data kind of supports it. So as you're going down, as you're sorting through your list, and we're going to get into more list discussion today. I want to really make it a little bit of a tutorial and coach you guys on playing with your spreadsheet, making your organic list, and it's early in the season, so we're gonna move some guys up. I'm gonna slide some guys down, leapfrogging, really trying to get that nice, smooth one list. And barrels is obviously a great way as we get deeper to maybe identify some guys that could take a step forward or some guys we can trust more than others. CJ Cron, Yasiel Puig, Encarnacion. Maybe you don't want to bump a guy up too far. Kyle Schwarber. Well, he doesn't have Puig barrels. We'd have to look at his batting average. On and on the list goes. So another couple key things to sort here. I think I've mentioned this before, but let's go into a little more depth. Sort by that 95 mile per hour under hard hit. Okay, this is interesting, and I really like the color coding that's on the barrels because now you got guys who are just striking the ball hard and often. This is why I'm confident in Manny Machado, Francisco Lindor in the first round. Why I said JD last year, you're probably talking about the third best hitter. I pushed him down a little bit because of age. That's probably not fair to do to him. But then you get mixed in there, okay, Nick Markakis. Yeah, Nick Markakis had a great first half. He made the All-Star team. But that barrel rate at 2.4, those aren't going to be homers. He's not going to hit a lot of homers. He's hitting hard grounders or he's hitting line drives, stuff that's not going out. So I might want to discount him because the power is not really coming. You see Yelich, Matt Swolson, Ozuna. Ozuna had a down year, but look, that's a lot of hard contact. His barrel rate, acceptable. And then you get Trey Turner. This is why, as I talk about Trey Turner as having the speed, don't get too excited about the power. The barrel rate is 4.2. Bregman, I mentioned his issues. The contact rate is amazing, but the 5.5, he's lacking a little bit. Young enough to maybe make the step forward. Rizzo, that barrel rate is a little bit sad for a first baseman. That's why people are falling out of love with him. David Peralta, who I threw a bunch of shade on, etc. The list goes down. So kind of contrast these guys. A name that pops up here, Brian Anderson. I haven't talked about him yet. DJ LeMahieu, I got him pushed down. Oh, a lot of hard hit. The barrel rate's not there. Okay. Michael Brantley. Keep going. The list continues. My only issue with this particular page, for whatever reason, I can't sort by position. I don't know. I don't know why they don't want to let me do it, but I can't. Another one I want to show you is it's the FB/line drive exit velocity. So we want to lean towards higher exit velocities. These guys are hitting it harder. Their BABIPs are going to be better. There's more likely to hit home runs, and they separated it from fly ball, line drive, and ground ball, where they're getting the velo. And here's another nice place to sort. You see another name I really like on there, Juan Soto, with a top 10 exit velo. He's hitting the ball pretty hard. Even old man Ryan Braun with his limited plate appearances hitting it really hard. There's some names that's a little confusing. Daniel Palka, I don't know. Oh, hard hits only 130. Okay, he's a limited playing time kind of guy. Anyways, that's another nice place to sort as you want to keep discerning between different players. Max exit velocity, it's okay. Average exit velocity. In a way, we're just constantly trying to sort through this static. Average exit velocity, a guy I'm going to talk about today, Robinson Cano. We still, for being an older, he's a professional hitter. He's hitting the ball hard consistently. And obviously the high end is going to change the low end. Maybe you take a glance over at the barrel rate and look at the color coding. You start to get a sense of these players. Great tool. Get into your Statcast, your Baseball Savant. This is what's new. It says new nav right underneath the term Statcast leaderboard, exit velocity, expected statistics. Okay, let's see this expected statistics. I got to go a little further into this with you guys because last season we would have had to have sorted this out through their search menu, which is cumbersome, which I'm going to touch on. But the number one stat that's on Statcast that we're not getting over at Fangraphs or anywhere else is xWOBA. That's the expected weighted on base average versus the regular weighted on base average, and even expected batting average. Statcast is determining this number based on the kind of contact and the spray charts of what the expected WOBA would be. And the real thing that they want to point out is what's the WOBA versus the expected WOBA. So what actually happened versus what was expected. And then they do the subtraction for you there, and they call it the diff, the differential. When the number's positive, the player in reality actually outperformed what was expected. So maybe there's a little touch down there. If there's a negative, the player actually should have done a little bit better than what was expected. So we could go down. Let me find a good negative here. Nelson Cruz, a slightly better xWOBA. The differential becomes a negative. He should have performed better. So it's another way to say I might have found a little bit of value. Or this guy next season, might have a little bit of untapped potential. But again, when you're up in the elite, when you're talking about Trout between a 447 and a 430, I don't think the differential is as important. But this may, especially when you sort by position and we get deeper down into the tiers, we get to the 12th to the 15th guy, this might be a better way to identify some talent. So definitely get into that xWOBA. You can go position by position. I think it's a pretty nice feature. There was one other stat I wanted to check here. Oh man, there's a sprint speed. There it is. So you got to scroll down under running. Let me just talk about this speed for a second. And I believe that this is measured as guys are turning or taking bases. So as opposed to drafting purely off of last year's steals totals and expecting to get them again, come over here to sprint speed, and this will show you the real burners. Byron Buxton, fastest guy in the league, listed at number 1. He's a constant green light, and obviously he's disappointed year after year. He got injured last year. It was a toe. It was the minors. He fans on everything. It has not come together. Uber prospect, it hasn't clicked. But when it does, he's taken bases and he has power. Quinn Roman, don't know him. Sierra, don't know him. Okay, Billy Hamilton. That's why Billy Hamilton is constantly a threat to lead the league in bases and has a constant green light. Trey Turner, the burner, they know he's going. They just can't stop him. So besides pure speed, the reason that Trey Turner is outperforming Buxton is because you got to be elusive. You got to be ready to time it. You've got to know pitching movement. There's got to be particular times to take bases. Trey Turner last year was being held sometimes because Bryce didn't want him running in front of him. With Bryce out of there, Trey Turner may be getting even more green lights. He's going to be taking a lot of bases. So when you're going to draft speed, you can be more confident that these guys are likely to continue to take bases. Let's go down a little further. Adalberto Mondesi. Okay, well, he's a real speed threat right there as the 11th on the bases. Trevor Story, who combined the power and the speed last year in Colorado, don't sleep. There's going to be more bases. So it's another nice little thing to look at. You can go down. You can see why I may give Ahmed Rosario a late shortstop. He's got a little bit of speed. High end Victor Robles is going to take some bases. So this is another tool to look at. Definitely check out your Statcast leaderboards. Use that new nav. They made it a little bit more user-friendly. And then I'll just touch on search here. If you go over to search, this thing is a mess. I don't even know. This is why they had to make more menus over there, because this thing is so bad. There are all those categories to fill in, and it's just daunting. I believe to get some stats out, all you need is maybe go to player type, pick pitcher or hitter, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and the only couple categories we need are, where is it? Underneath player type, we change it, group by. I wrote this down for you guys. You just have to do group by, sort by, minimum plate appearances, and position. Just those 4 categories. So position's up a little bit. That would be the first one. It's like 12 from the bottom. Position, maybe I check first base. All the way down, group by player name is fine. Sort by is where I get to pick the stat. And there's your xWOBA, your WOBA. The thing you're not seeing on the other list that you might be interested in, average exit velocity or average launch angle. And now we can see, is this guy elevating the ball in a way that he could get better next season? Sort by descending, minimum plate appearances. That's going to get your guys that barely play out of there. Pick maybe 200. Typical season's 500. That's going to be too high. 250, 400. You'll get a look at everybody. You can sort by position. So that's just a quick primer on Statcast. Definitely use that. Definitely cross it with your other Fangraphs information. It's important. So I'm going pretty long here on just data. We haven't talked players yet, but I thought that was important to share with you. I set up an email. So we had a couple more subscribers. I'm loving it. I'm doing this for you guys. If you guys have a more in-depth question, you want to ask me something specific, I don't know, someday I might do a mailbag. Read them on the video. I'm not sure. I'm doing it at dailyjaylee@protonmail.com. I'll drop that in the description. You guys can email me. I'll be checking that out. So my last other point, the reason we play Yahoo, and I encourage you to do a Yahoo fantasy draft auction, the app is money. It's so easy. It's so casual. You flip the app open. You set your lineups. It's the best app in the game. I've played on CBS. I've played on Fantrax, which is emerging. And Yahoo's app is just on another level. You can manage a bunch of teams. No big deal. So get in, get your auctions. That hasn't opened up yet. We'll talk about it when it opens. I got to jump you over to the list. So I'm going to speed through this, trying to keep it around 30 minutes again. I don't even know what length is good, but who knows. I got some risers for you, some hitters we had to talk about. And then strategically, this is what happened to me. I'm going to hitters, and I don't want to go much further down those tiers. I don't want to try to push guys up. You know, shortstop, catchers, and guys, they'll go on forever. Oh, take a flyer on this guy, and he's going pick 250. I mean, that's pretty deep. So at this point, I want it to stop, and I'm going to work back up the list. We've got 140 players deep. I really want to work up there because I want to win every round in there. I want to be able to see through what the draft robot is doing and kind of pick out and be just a little bit more correct. So I want to go back up the list, start applying more metrics to my players, and making some definitive decisions across the whole spreadsheet of who I like. So at this juncture, as opposed to going deeper or doing catchers or doing closers, I jumped over to some starters, some starting pitchers that just off of legacy and a little bit of numbers and knowing about their stuff could be some late round flyers that I'm going to need cheap. Because realistically, I'm going to be spending more on hitters, set it and forget it, leave them in the lineup, wait the whole season, get those numbers. But staff is somewhere where I can be a little cheaper. I can maybe hit on a flyer. I can manage. I can deal with injuries. So I jumped over and I tried to look at, can I live late? Are there some guys I can live with? Let's get into those players now. First, some risers on the hitting end. Alberto Mondesi. This heartache with him is going to go on all preseason. This is kind of where I'm at. I'm not going to tell you to do it because there's too much risk, and I don't want you to be like, oh, Daly sucks. Like, what is he talking about? But I'm probably going to do it. So figure out what you want to do with him. He's going early. I don't know what the price is yet. We'll see how much we have to pay for it. It's kind of exciting. We saw him on the speed list. The hard contact list we got to look at. The contact rates aren't there. I just keep moving him around. He's going up and down every time I come to the sheet. It's a big problem. Xander Bogaerts. I moved him up. I think it's going to all come together. I love the lineup. I love the situation. I love the power speed. He brings me average. I think the best is in front of him. I jumped him up over Correa. Got to take a look there. Veteran first baseman Joey Votto. Yeah, I know he's getting old and he fell off the cliff last season. But I don't think Joey's done. He's done this to us before. He's too good of a hitter. First base is too shallow to not respect getting Joey Votto for value. Daniel Murphy. Yeah, his numbers were suppressed. Daniel Murphy's numbers weren't that good last year because of the microfracture surgery. But when he put it together, again, elite eye. He's going to Colorado, the thin air. There's going to be a lot of production. And I know I kind of shy away against some of these older guys, but Daniel might be one that's worth it if he comes at value. I don't want to disrespect him too far. Push him up. Justin Turner, too good of a hitter. Dodgers lineup, I know he's getting old. I know he's going to miss some time. Red beard, red locks. He's just too good of a hitter. He got pushed up a little bit. Robinson Cano, who we just saw on some of that Statcast data, the veteran. I mean, he's just too popular. As opposed to speculating late or dealing with someone who doesn't have power, Scooter Gennett, Peraza. I don't think so. Robinson Cano. Let's get him up there. And I think Paul DeJong. Secret's probably out. DeJong's bringing real-time power to your middle infield where power is going to be scarce. We got to take a look at him, push him up. I'm going quick today, boys. I'm flying through, boys and girls. I hope everybody listens. So here are the pitchers. Here are the Flyers. They're going late. The numbers don't necessarily support it, but I just know them. I know about their stuff. I can give you a little background. I can say why I'm going to at least get a cheap flyer on these guys late. This allows me to not buy early pitching, not be forced to take them early. Make sure that my hitters are just class above Rich Hill. Always injured, but he's a competitor. He's like 40. He pitches for the Dodgers. I know he's going to get injured again. He's the blister king. But when he goes, the ERA is going to be good. The lineup's going to get him wins. Let's see where he's at. Steven Matz of the Mets. Matz, it's just been things. He's got like debris in the elbow and Tommy John and can't get healthy. But elite prospect in the minors. When he gets it going, he's really good. He can be filthy. He's got the staff to compete with. I've always liked Matz. I'm probably going to get a little piece of that. I still like him. Reynaldo Lopez. Depending on what the White Sox do with their team, if they bring in more bats, if they land Machado, he could maybe get some more wins. He showed flashes of brilliance. He outperformed his xFIPs. We thought he was going to get blown up and he'd put together another start. Occasionally he would get blown up. Occasionally. But he showed the brilliance. He takes a step forward. He throws hard. Reynaldo Lopez late. Yes, sure. Glass now. Stud in the minors. Comes up into the big league. Gets mashed. Pirates don't know what to do with him. Goes over to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, they know how to manage staff. They got Blake Snell. They had David Price. I love a little piece of glass now late. Maybe I can live there. Lucchesi. This is what I'm talking about with the experts. You got to be able to see through other supposed experts. On all these podcasts, it's the same dudes, and then they're on each other's pods, and it's the echo chamber. They just keep saying the same stuff. I heard from supposed Jeff Zimmerman or somebody on the Launch Angle podcast that Joey Lucchesi only has 2 pitches. You're wrong. You are wrong. Stop saying that about Lucchesi. Lucchesi has a fastball that's not that hard. He has a curve, which is a change-up curve that he throws with a funky grip, and then he has a legit curveball. So he's got a 3-pitch mix. The issue is the curve and the curveball are like the same velocity, like 81, 82. So the Statcast data is having a hard time picking up which one he's throwing. Enough so that these guys not watching baseball and just looking at numbers want to tell me that Lucchesi only has 2 pitches when he's got 3. And he's been nasty in the minors. I think he handled himself well outside of a glute injury last year, that he could be filthy. San Diego, maybe they make a move. They're trying to become a better team. They brought in Kinsler. Yeah, some Lucchesi late. I need a late ace. Maybe it's Joey Lucchesi. Get some more of that. Don't listen to that 2-pitch talk. Michael Fulmer, I don't love it. There's been some injuries. I think I just listened to the sleeper pod and how much they're on his nuts that I just can't get off. Michael Fulmer's out there. Carlos Rodon, the pedigree. He had the Tommy John, but before that, he throws gas. He has a killer slider. So he hasn't put it together. His price is going to be depressed. But with the pedigree and the stuff, he could give you something this season. I'm going to get a piece of that. I don't care what the numbers were last season, especially if he's going for nothing. Jimmy Nelson of Milwaukee. Jimmy Nelson broke out as an ace. He had like 13 starts of acehood. People still weren't trusting him because he was just like average Jimmy. But average Jimmy took a step forward with the velo pitches in Milwaukee. Tommy John took him out. But apparently he might be healthy in spring training. He's already throwing. You got to know that Jimmy Nelson could be a number 2, number 3 starter. I'll take him late. Michael Wacha, overused as a rookie. They burned him out in a playoff run for St. Louis. 4-pitch mix, hard velo. He seems to just be underperforming his stuff. So we're going to keep an eye on him late. Maybe I can live there. Garrett Richards, basically the living version of the Wild Thing. He throws hard. He throws ugly. He gets hurt. But he has shown flashes of brilliance. And if he's coming for nothing and he's healthy and he starts off the season well, I'll give him a chance. I've seen him get a lot of strikeouts. We're going to live there. I got a couple more minutes here. These are the guys who I'm going to push up that I don't really respect as much. But as we're looking at pitching, let me just go 10 guys deeper. Kyle Hendricks, the soft tosser at the Cubs. Soft tosser by, I think the fastball is 90. He locates. He's a control guy. I almost never own any of this because I need hard velo in my life. But there's Kyle Hendricks. Dylan Bundy of the Baltimore Orioles. Bundy was a top draft pick. He's been injured. It hasn't come together. He showed some brilliance for about 5 or 6 starts, and then sometimes he just throws BP. I think he gave up 9 runs in 2/3 of an inning in a game. So Bundy is like a Jekyll and Hyde of starters, but if he gets hot, I'm going for him off waivers. I'll give him a chance. Dave Sclafani. I don't think he has the stuff to become a number 2. Maybe a number 3, 4. You got to be aware of him when you're streaming. Jose Quintana. Just when everyone wanted to trust him, he burned everyone. He went to the Cubs, and he was not good. But he's still out there. He's not too old. He works low in the zone. Maybe he's decent. Josh James of the Astros. The youngster throws fire. We don't know if he's going to start. We don't know who is in the back end of the rotation of the Astros. But if Josh James even gets a whiff of starting, or he gets called up, or somebody gets hurt and they're going to start Josh James, be there for it. Be there for Josh James. He's throwing too hard. He's too filthy. Ryu of the Dodgers, I don't like it. He was okay. He doesn't stay that healthy. The Dodgers baby pitchers, not good. See, this is where it's getting bad, and that's why we've got to know our pitchers. We got to know we're going to get in. Jake Junis, not really. Lance Lynn, I'm not sure. Rick Porcello, he won a Cy Young by like a fluke, but at least he's striking guys out. Joe Musgrove of the Pirates, just when I wanted to trust him, he started getting blasted. And Eduardo Rodriguez of the Boston Red Sox with some velo from the left. These are some pitchers you got to be aware of. Push them up. Sort through some of these dudes. See if you can live there. Those are my tips for today. Let me make sure I didn't have any other notes for you. The reason I'm not going through catchers, because if you're in a 2-catcher league, that's like being in a 2-kicker league. Some guys are, all my fantasy football leagues, there's no kickers. We're done with that. We're not doing kickers. We're not doing defense. You want to do a bye-week kicker? And it's kind of like that with catchers. It'd be like a 2 tight end league. You want to go deep. Oh, well, this will be a good catcher in a 2-catcher league. If you're in a 2-catcher, maybe just stop the league. Just stop being part of that league. Who wants multiple catchers? I'm not going that deep with catcher. I'm only dealing with a couple guys, and I might bypass the position altogether because they're not good hitters. They're injury prone. They don't bat every day. So just take the donut or get the prospect or get somebody who just starts hitting well out of nowhere. Well, I'll get into some eventually that'll be safe, but they're not in my top 140. I added 20 hitters today. My top 160? I don't think so. So your 2 catchers leagues, I'm not sure about it. Hit me up with an email if you want. You got a bigger question, dailyjlee@protonmail.com. I went a couple minutes over. I'll be back. I got to figure out a way to package out my reevaluation of my top tier hitting. I got to discuss some of these movers and where they went. Keep working on your list. Keep doing the work beforehand. I love fantasy baseball. I can't wait. These pitchers, oh my God. Stick with me. Subscribe. Let me know you're out there. Hit me with a comment. Doing it for the people.